Carrie, and this is Flannel Acres, your creative home connection. Be sure to stay connected by subscribing and leaving me some comments and stuff. Today I want to show you a review of my own, basically non-sponsored review of a FoodSaver vacuum sealer machine that I have. I want to show you how I use it for jars and why I use it and why I like it. So I have the FoodSaver brand vacuum sealer, and this can do both plastic bags, the special kind of plastic bags that you buy for this machine, or it can do mason jars. So there are a couple of buttons here. It's very straightforward on how to use it. You just pick if you're doing a dry food or moist food. And this is the port for the vacuum sealer for the jars. And let me show you some of the things that I can do with this. All right, so just a few of the things that I vacuum sealed in this are zucchini, jalapeno peppers, spaghetti squash, green beans, hot peppers, and elderberries. Now all these things obviously have been dehydrated, so having a food dehydrator is really kind of a good partner machine, so to speak, to have with a food sealer. So some of the reasons that I like this is, for one, it's a different way of preserving food. It takes up a little bit less space than if you do regular canning. So if I had canned these peppers, it would have taken up a lot more jars than just this one. So the space saving is a good part of this that I like. Also, it protects the food from moisture and bugs and rodents or things like that, depending on where you have things stored. If you have a cellar or something more closer to outdoors, I guess you'd say, where rodents are more likely to be, this would help protect from those as well. I also like it because this is good for both long-term and short-term food storage. If you would rather store your dried goods in glass jars than plastic bags, this is a good way to go. You can pop the seal on this, use some of what's in there, and then put the top right back on and seal it back up. And you can get into a jar several times, or you can seal it and let it sit on a shelf for a few years. I don't know if you could see any of the tops of these jars earlier when I showed you, but some of these are from 5 years ago as of the recording of this video. So it's 2019 right now. Some of these were sealed up 5 years ago. The seal is still good on it. Things are still very dry in there. I can still get things out of here and rehydrate and reuse. The only thing you really need is a mason jar. It can be either a regular size lid or a wide mouth jar top. So I have these two jars here. This is a half-gallon jar, I believe. I have a full of rice, and this is just a little half pint. The openings are different, but I have an attachment for both sizes. So this is for the wide mouth jar, and this is for the regular size. So you just need the attachment, the jars, and then the lids. Whatever size jar you're using, that's the size lid you're going to use. You do not need to use the jar rings that typically you use with canning. All you need is this lid, and you can reuse it as long as, I think as long as this isn't being heated, you can reuse these, at least for vacuum sealing. So let me get this hooked up and plugged in, and I'll show you how to do one of these jars. All right, so we're going to take this tube that comes with the attachment, and both of the ends are the same, so it doesn't matter which one goes in which end. So one of these will get plugged right into the front of the machine here in that port. Just kind of press that in there. And then the other end will go into the attachment top, just like that. And like I said, you just put this lid on top of the jar like that. Place the attachment down over the lid, so it's all the way on there. So on the side of my machine is this little lever that you have to make sure you push down, and that basically turns the machine on. You can see the light there that indicates we're doing dry food. I wouldn't recommend doing wet food in vacuum sealing, just dry stuff typically. And here are the seal and vacuum seal buttons. We're just going to do the vacuum seal. And when it stops doing that, that means that it's done. If this had a plastic bag in it, it would be sealing it right now. That's why it's lit up on the seal. But since we're doing a jar, it doesn't do the heat seal. Then I'll just release that lever again on the side, and then we just take this off. And there we go. It is sealed in there. Vacuum sealed. So you can see how easy and simple this is to use and how useful it could be. There's several different things that you can put in jars like this as long as it's dry. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, even if you're into saving seeds for your gardening after they're thoroughly dry, you could put them in a jar and seal them. That would protect them from moisture while you're storing them. And I do want to stress that you want to make sure that it is thoroughly dry when you put it into the jar. I did do some of these green beans before, and the batch that I did at the time, I didn't get them dry enough. So after I sealed them, I guess they continued to break down in the jar. So it essentially broke the seal, and they weren't any good then. So just make sure things are dry. If you have a dehydrator that you're using, make sure that you follow the instructions on that. And if you ever go to use something and the seal is popped on it, just word of caution, something may be spoiled in there or maybe stale. You just never know. If the seal is popped, it's questionable, and I don't recommend using it then. But if you have other suggestions on things that you can vacuum seal in glass jars, definitely leave comments below. There are lots of great ideas out there, not only for food storage, but I imagine crafting ideas as well, like those brownie mix or cake mix, cookie mix, things that you can get in jars where they're kind of layered and people give those as gifts. Those would be a great thing to vacuum seal as well. So definitely leave your suggestions and comments below, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.